Hello and welcome to my channel. Before we get started today, I wanted to share with you a discount code for a sale that I have going on my website for digital book downloads. If you followed my YouTube channel before, then you know I have many different template books geared towards paper crafting, and I've got all of the measurements worked out for envelopes, boxes, bags, tags, gifts, and so much more. For the remaining days in the month of October, I've got a 30% discount code for all digital book downloads. So head on over to my website and use coupon code TREATS2022 to fill your cart with some really great and inspiring template books to help you get creative in your crafty space.
You are what I'm looking for. I know what I'm looking for.
Okay, so for today, I've got a set of thank you sentiments that you can print and put inside of your thank you cards. These are available on my website at www.jennycards.ca. The link will be in the description box down below. Now, I'm going to cut these up and show you how I use them to create cards. I'm also going to be using the Gina K Designs ephemera and die set, as well as some Gina K Designs Autumn Splendor pattern paper. And then I'm also going to use the word thanks from the Gina K Designs Doodled Autumn stamp set. So I'm going to create a set of thank you note cards. So let's get chopping into these sentiments. So first up, I'm going to pop this sheet in my trimmer, and I'm going to start cutting this down into quarter sheets. I'm cutting it down in half at 5.5 inches, and then taking that piece and cutting down to 4.25. So these are going to be 4.25 by 5.5 inch panels that will pop inside of my cards, and they will fit perfectly inside of an A2 size card base. And I have a bunch of A2 size top folding note cards here, and basically you just print these off, glue them on the inside, and then decorate the front of your card. And you've got some beautiful professional looking thank you cards, and you don't have to figure out what to say. I've done all of that for you. All right, so I've also got these pieces of ephemera already cut out. I used the Gina K Designs Autumn Splendor ephemera pack and the die set, and I just ran them through my die cut machine, and so I've got a pile of die cuts to work with to decorate my cards. Now I'm going to pull out some papers out of the Gina K Designs Autumn Splendor pattern paper pack, and I'm just looking for the texture style cardstock. I don't want the florals because I've got the ephemera to decorate the front of my cards. I just want a little bit of texture for the front of these cards, and these 4 patterns are going to be perfect. So I'm going to get 2 cards out of each pattern. So first I'm going to start by cutting the pattern paper down to 5.5 inches. And then I'm going to save that little 1/2 inch strip there, and I'm going to use it on the inside of my card. And then I'm going to rotate my paper, and I'm going to start cutting 2-inch strips. All right, so I end up with 3 strips that measure 2 inches by 5.5 inches, and then that extra little 1/2 inch strip. So I'll start with that 1/2 inch strip, and I'm going to adhere it to the inside of my card. I'm just going to use some tape runner, adhere it to the bottom on the inside, and then trim off the excess. Now, I'm not sure what I was thinking when I did this. What I should have done first was attach my sentiments to the inside of the card and then add the pattern paper. But you'll see how I come back and fix this later on. I'm going to take one of those 2 by 5.5 inch strips and adhere it down to the left of my card to create a little bit of interest, and I like the way that looks. I'm going to create 2 of the same design for each piece of pattern paper, and then I've got 1 piece left that measures 2 inches. I'm going to pop this back into my trimmer and cut off another 1/2 inch strip because I need a second little piece for my other card. So I'll go ahead and apply adhesive here again to the bottom, and then line my little strip up and cut off the excess. I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of my pattern papers. The exact same method, cutting it down into 2-inch strips with a little 1/2 inch piece on the inside of each card. So I'll end up with 8 card bases with 4 different designs and 2 of each design. And then I'm going to save those little leftover pieces. I'm not going to worry about the little tiny pieces, but I'm going to save the other longer strip that's left. And we'll come back and make a bonus project at the end of this video. So I'm going to go ahead off screen and cut up all of these panels, and then we'll be ready to start working on the next step here. So I've got 8 cards, and I need to decorate the front of the cards, make a sentiment, and then also insert the printed sentiment on the inside of my card base. So to do this, I'm going to grab a pen and kind of make a mark where I need to cut off the little piece of that sentiment. So I'm just going to line it up inside of my card where I want it to go, grab a little pen and make a little tick mark. Okay, so then I'm going to pop it into my trimmer and trim away right on that tick mark, making sure that I get the pen mark off of the cardstock. And then I'm just going to apply a little bit of tape runner here and adhere that, resting right on top of my pattern paper strip. I ended up making more work for myself, but I figured it out in the end. You can skip this step and adhere the greeting down first before putting any decorations on the inside. All right, next up, I need a sentiment. I have a Gina K Designs Thanks Word and Shadow die, and this coordinates with the Doodled Autumn stamp set. So I've just gone ahead and cut out the shadow and created a little template that I can use to stamp multiples at once. So I've got the word thanks from that stamp set, and I'm just lining it up over top of that shadow, which I have popped inside of my little template. And then I'm going to pick the stamp up with the Door of the Misty and make sure that my shadow is in its place. And then I'm going to ink up my stamp with Gina K Designs Dark Chocolate ink. I think this is a nice fall color that will coordinate nicely with my card base. So I'll close the Door of the Misty and I'll press. And then we have the perfect greeting, thanks, ready for the front of the card. So I'll just grab a little pokey tool here and I'll lift up that sentiment. And I'll grab another blank and put it in the same place, and then just continue stamping until I have 8 sentiments for my 8 cards. So this little green template that I made, I've just cut the word out of the center of this piece of paper. I'll store it with my stamp so that in the future, if I want to do this again, I'll have that template pre-made. All right, so now it's time to pull all of this together. So I've got this ephemera, I've got the word thanks. I'm just going to make little arrangements of florals and pumpkins and gourds and leaves and things like that. So I just play around with these ephemera pieces until I'm happy with the design. So I have enough ephemera to make 2 of the exact same card. And then we'll have a variety of beautiful thank you cards. And to adhere down my ephemera, I kind of figure out my placement, and then I use some tape runner and tape down all of the pieces. And I really like the way this turned out in the end. These turned out really pretty. And the thanks, it's still brown, but it's bold enough that it stands out. Okay, so these are all done. I just spent some time watching TV and figuring out my placement. And I'm going to pair these with some beautiful Gina K Designs grass green envelopes. And then these little note cards are complete. I have a variety of thank you cards with 8 different sentiments inside, ready to give away when I need to send off a thank you. So there we go. Now I have this little plastic packaging that my envelopes came in, and my 8 set of note cards fits perfectly inside of this. So I can store them and keep them nice and clean. If I decide to give this whole thing away to somebody, then I can do that as well. It's ready to go. So there we go. The cards are all complete. All right, let's take a look at that bonus project now. So I have these leftover strips and some leftover ephemera, and I'm just going to cut these strips in half. So the measurement is 2 3/4 by 2 inches. So I'll take all of those little strips and cut them down, and then I'm going to use a little tag punch here. This just punches little angles in the corners of my cardstock. You can use scissors here. You don't have to use any fancy tools, but I have this little punch that I picked up from Amazon, and I like the way that it creates my tags. So I'll run through all of those, get the little corners punched out, and then I'm going to punch a hole in the top of all of these tags. I'm going to put some baker's twine through here to hang on to gifts. So I also have a little stamp set with a to and from that I keep inside of my drawer for all seasons. I keep it all year round. And I'm going to use that same dark chocolate ink and stamp to and from on the back of these tags. So I'll get all of those tags stamped up, and then I'm going to start decorating the front. So I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to take 1 or 2 little die cuts and pop them up on some foam on the front of these little tags. Then they'll coordinate with the card set that we have, And you can hang these on place settings at Thanksgiving dinner, or little gifts or gift cards that you give away. So I'm just going to pop these up on a piece of foam and put them on the front of the tag. And then I'll grab some pieces of baker's twine. I just pull out a bunch of pieces and cut them up about the same length. They're about 8 inches or so. So I'm just going to fold them in half and run them through the little hole and then create a little slip knot. So I'll just poke them through that little hole there and then put the tails back through that little loop and then pull. And then there we go. We got a cute little gift. You can tie this onto a mug full of hot chocolate and marshmallows or whatever you want to do. All right, so here we go. The project is complete. So we've got 8 little tags that have a little to and from on the back and little baker's twine, and then we have our 8 cards. I'm going to run through these cards and read the sentiments here. So we've got, you are a kind and thoughtful person. The lives of people you touch are better because of you. And then the next one reads, I am forever grateful for you and everything you do. You are simply the best. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Many thanks for all you do. Thanks, thanks, thanks. Sometimes the simplest things mean the most. Thank you. Your thoughtfulness is a gift I will always treasure. And then finally, my heart is still smiling. Thank you. All right, that's going to be it for today's video. Here's a close-up look one more time at those finished cards. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I had so much fun creating these cards and tags and decorating with my ephemera. These are super simple, super easy, and anybody can make them. Don't forget to head on over to my website to check out those sentiment downloads. Thanks again for joining me. Coming up on screen is a video that I think you may enjoy. Have yourself a lovely day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!